Hello and welcome to the Overton Audios podcast. My name is Callum Chadwick.
And I'm Daniel Penn, and I'm back. And on today's podcast, I'm going to be talking with Luke Lane about his various roles on the audios as well as DW 2012 and also on Crimson Hunter Volume 1.
And I will then later be talking to Callum, Trevitt and Reuben on Torchwood 2000, which is their fan film. Oh,
very good.
Welcome back, Daniel.
Good to be back. I mean, it's like, where did I go?
Yeah.
I was in a void for a whole month there.
Yeah, I know. It was a weird one because it was very last minute change, wasn't it?
Yeah. Everyone was wondering. There's just a personal family tragedy that couldn't have been helped, but thanks.
It was right that you took the time off, though. I feel.
Yeah. It gave me some time as well just to recharge the old batteries, and overall, it wasn't a pleasant time. I managed to get everything I need to sorted. So I'm back now, fully recharged.
That's good. Yeah, because last month's podcast was the shortest podcast we've ever had.
Also, I think last month was the 1 year anniversary of the podcast.
I know. It was the 1 year anniversary, yeah. But the reason it was so short was because the segment I'd done or recorded with Ollie was only 8 minutes long, and that was talking about Torchwood World at War. And then the next section was talking with John, but John was already hosting the podcast with me.
Yeah, so it's just...
Yeah.
No, with one you couldn't talk too much about, and with the other one you were talking to me for the entire podcast, so it was just...
Yeah, it was like a proper half of it.
Material's going dry.
Well, yeah, exactly. So it was a bit odd, and then it ended up only being 50 minutes, which I suppose was more of a benefit for me editing. I know that this month is going to be a bit trying from already the segments we've recorded.
Yeah, agreed. We got to try to get this snapping into the points, but anyway, since last month, we've had the final volume of Uncharted Past come out.
Doctor, come on. Stop playing around. Wake up, please. Doctor, you're okay?
Who are you?
Doctor, what's going on?
Doctor who?
Overton Audios presents.
There's nothing here apart from this blue box.
You really don't recognize this?
It will hit the Earth within 24 hours.
I need you to be the doctor again, or we will all die.
I'm sorry, kid, but I'm not the doctor! I don't know what to do!
Step away. It just moved.
It's just a metal object.
Do you want me to die?
No, of course not. What makes you say that?
Instructions received.
Why does he sound like that?
What do you want, a human father? I want to be that. I need to do right by you, because that's what fathers do.
Doctor Who Uncharted Past Volume 4, coming daily from the 21st of April to the 24th of April 2021 at 12 p.m. Spoilers ahead, by the way, for anyone who has not listened yet. It was very sad, wasn't it? I mean, when we initially edited it and we listened to it back, we got a bit emotional then, didn't we?
Yeah, I was just sort of like, well, that's it. Whenever we put the stamp of approval in that final draft, I was like, that's it. That's the last one. This is it all finished. And I don't know, it didn't really hit me until Saturday, like Saturday the 24th, when the final episode did come out. Just sort of like, wait, that's it. That's Uncharted Past done. That's it, completely finished. There's no more releases for it.
Yeah, it's like the last one in that story. Yeah, and then obviously then you've got the prequel that follows it, which is already out, the visual for the prequel to Fractured Timeline.
Yeah, and I watched that again recently, and just sort of like, with all the context now with Uncharted Past, it's just sort of like it hits you now with the context. Like, all the emotions are right there, all the wires, all the stories, and you get everything now about who Nathan is and who he was to the Doctor, and yeah,
exactly.
and then he dies, and then he dies in a fire.
Yeah, but it's like one of those things, isn't it, where you look at it in the initial when you look at it in the initial prequel without that context, it's completely different.
Yeah.
And when you've listened to it all and you then know everything and how it's ended, you end up going into that. Well, it's just a mad one, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It feels weird.
But yeah, it was a journey. I want to say it was a journey with these characters. I'm proud. I'm really proud of what we finished with, and all the everything we managed to pull for the finale. From, spoiler again, the Master, how that story came about, and as well as Nathan's finale, and I feel like it was a perfect ending. It was the right ending.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's all those things, isn't it? It's like I can't, like, we've been doing this now since we talked about doing volume 1. That was that early 2019?
I think it was actually early 2018, like late 2018. We were discussing it because it came out in July 2019.
I know that we got bits and pieces finished in March. So it might have been late.
Yeah.
It may have also been late 2018. Yeah, you're right. Because that would have been just after I'd really properly kicked the schedule off. You know what I mean? Because at that point I'd just done series 2 of Resurrection, and I think you'd been in that, and that's when the idea of doing this backstory, because you were talking about how you'd always wanted to do it and make it the way you originally wanted to, and initially you were still hoping to do something visual with it, but then after we discussed it a little bit, you sort of thought, actually, in audio it's a lot easier.
Yeah,
and then
as well as that audio, I could go into a lot more details about it, because originally when I had the idea of this story and when I was going to do it visually, it was originally going to be a 1 episode thing. And I thought to myself, well, I could branch out and make it a whole volume.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, then I can make it 3 volumes. And then we later decided to split the last volume into 2 parts, so we can definitely get that finale right.
I wonder if it was during or after volume 2 that we looked over it and you said, this isn't going to cut it. Like, doing 1 volume will not complete the entire arc. Like, the amount that you had planned anyway. Like, you know, the plan, like the cliffhanger for volume 3 goes into 4. That was meant to be episode 2 and 3, and then you realise there's no gap between it. And then, you know, I mean, they just needed room to breathe between those big stories, because you had
as well as that, we need more to give Nathan more developments on being to being the leading character in this in the last volume.
It makes sense
if we
that way.
Yeah, because if we jumped from if we didn't have volume 3 and we had volume 4, and we just ignored the fact of that cliffhanger, Nathan does a lot of growing up in volume 3. And one thing as well that I liked with volume 4 is that we start with Nathan essentially adjusting to being more of an adult, because one of the things I did with the first episode was when he had that drink with Declan, he has first drink, and obviously in Ireland that's a big symbol of you becoming a man, and from you becoming an adult, and he was going to turn 18 in just the next month, so it's him starting to grow up, become wiser, and to learn how to fend for himself, especially when the doctor's not there.
Yeah,
it's just a lot of often becomes his own person.
Yeah, it was also the case of, with that as well, there was a lot of, for example, in volume 3 there was a lot of that transition. I think volume 3 was the transition for Nathan, because you had him with his girlfriend, and you know, at the time it seems like it's going to be very what's the word, it could be seen as a trivial school thing. But then when you look deeper into it and you see that they've actually planned something with one another and they've finished, so I think it was college, wasn't it, really? Like a sort of sixth form.
Sixth form,
yeah. After they'd finished all that, they were going to go and move out and move away together. But you can see how serious that is to them. And over the course of Volume 3, you can really see how much he even stands. I mean, even in War of the Schalke at the ending, he stands up to the Doctor and says, "No, that's not acceptable."
Yeah.
After Amber has to help out, and in defeating the Schalke, he wasn't happy that she was forced into such a situation where she had to help, and that's good development as well, because he wasn't just like, "Oh, thank you, Doctor, you're amazing, Doctor." He was like, "No, that's not cool."
Yeah, exactly. Just sort of like,
don't get my loved ones involved. And he was very harsh in episode 4 as well, when he was having an argument with him as well.
Yeah, especially because Nathan's not any normal companion. He doesn't have a normal life outside TARDIS. The TARDIS and the Doctor is his life. This is his father. The TARDIS is his home. This is what he comes back to when he gets home from school. So when he starts to find himself getting this life that's not the TARDIS, and obviously that's then put in jeopardy, and the Doctor seems willing to put that in jeopardy.
Well,
obviously, Nathan's
that's kind of a nice
that's not
reversal of it, though. That's a nice reversal of it, because typically it's the companion having to balance the real life with traveling with the Doctor, but now it's the reverse. It's Nathan having to balance traveling with the Doctor and real life, because real life came later.
Yeah, exactly, and then that's why I think it's very interesting reversal of the roles there.
It is interesting, yeah. Yeah, overall, are you happy with how the story played out, like all 4 volumes?
Yeah, I'm very happy with how all 4 volumes played out, and I think as well, what I'm very happy about on Uncharted Past, especially with our decision to make Volume 4, was that we were able to expand out more stories. And I think what I'm thankful for as well, because I don't think if we did Volume 4, we would be able to fit in a Devlin 2-parter. We'd never have Devlin in the universe.
No.
And it's just like by far the best. I think that a lot of good things came from Uncharted Past, but I think we can both agree Devlin was definitely one of the shining stars of things that are introduced in Uncharted Past.
Yeah, 100%. Oh. Well, I suppose speaking of Devlin, shall we move on to your conversation with Luke?
Yes, and yeah, we shall.
Overton Audios presents.
This Julia Breslin. You've been training her, right?
That's right, sir.
The cadets are calling her the Crimson Hunter. Did you know that? She's exactly the poster girl we need.
With all due respect, sir, Julia Breslin is not what you would call a poster girl.
Whoa, Reuben! Is that any way to talk to an old friend? Well, I say friend. No good bofo!
This job they want you on, I don't want you to take any chances.
But I have to take this opportunity.
That right there is the human empire!
We all thought you were part of the human colony.
No, we are beneath them.
What's next?
The hell do you mean, what's next? This is your idea.
For fuck's sake! I thought you and your big mouth would have thought of something.
Get the best Vitruvian ale in the house!
Would you just shut up? I need water, please!
She will be a valuable asset to us. If she dies in the field, then this was nothing more than pure luck.
The Crimson Hunter, Volume 1, available from the 8th of May 2021 at 2 p.m.
Hello everyone, and joining me today is Luke Lane. How are you doing, Luke?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm doing just fine, I'm of reasonable health, which is pretty much all you can ask for these days.
Oh yes, definitely.
So, yes. Luke, you have been infamous in DW 2012 because of the vast amount of villains you have played throughout the mediums.
Yes.
to name a few, the first one would be the Master in the Young Doctor Adventures.
The Young Doctor and was it Veritas or General Marsh? I can never remember that one.
That's fine. There's so much catalog there to go through.
Yes.
And then there's also of course Staticus from Fractured Timeline.
Yes.
Which there's still demand for a spin-off for, which maybe we'll get to eventually. Hush, hush, wink, wink.
Staticus and wait, no, not Devlin.
Dawson.
Dawson. Staticus and Dawson. Yes.
I'll see if Steven's up for that one.
We'll see. Yes.
And then of course we can't forget Devlin.
Yes. Devlin is my favorite. He is my favorite now.
Too. Yeah.
Yes.
When I wrote Devlin, I just I immediately felt I felt like I couldn't make this super serious bounty hunter type of person who is like broody or something like that. But then I'm like, yeah, but Luke Newman did that for his first series. He had this super serious bounty hunter who was like, gonna kill him for the seriously because he killed his brother. I'm like,
Zardox.
It's like, no, I was like, all right, I'll make him a wisecracker. I'll make him our Deadpool. Basically, that was the pitch I said. He was like, he's our Deadpool.
He's our Deadpool. Yes, and I was like, okay, Deadpool. Let's see what I can do with that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yes, I know exactly what I'm gonna do with him.
And then you sent me like test recordings, and I'm like, you gone spot on immediately.
Yeah, because I remember you said like the voice shouldn't be too deep, and I sent you one where like the voice pitch was just deep is like this, and you were like, no, it's gotta be up a bit more. I was like, okay, tweak the pitch a bit, and you're like, perfect, it's perfect.
Yeah. He has a sort of like cool natural, probably has that sort of alien like ring to his voice. But it's like this chill guy who just casually kills people. Gives people relationship advice while saying gun points.
He's like, so tell me how are you feeling today? Oh, sorry, is this hurting your head? Oh, okay. Well, I don't care. Whatever.
And he's like, I'm feeling slightly threatened, but thanks for the sincerity there.
You're welcome.
But like, what was like? Because so far we only have, because by the time this is released, I think. Yeah, we'll have Volume 4 released by the point this...
Right, because it's coming out the 21st, and it is...
Yes, which is,
the 15th.
From recording this, only 5 days away. So, we're good there. We're good there. We can talk about that.
I'm so excited. Yeah. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, Devlin has a good payday there.
He has an amazing payday. I don't remember how many credits he had, but he had... It was a lot. I remember recording that in my closet, because the original Devlin... So I say the original Devlin voice because... can I talk about Crimson Hunter? I mean, it's been announced.
But... Oh, that's a bit of a spoiler if I'm being completely honest.
Well, I know the second one is. We're going to cut that. The second one is. But anyways. Anyway,
but I don't think it's been announced Devlin's going to be in it.
Okay, well, anyways.
Has the cover art been released?
It's on IMDb. I know that. Yeah, the cover art for season 1 has.
Yeah, okay. It's been nice. Devlin's going to be in volume 1 of the Crimson Hunter.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying. That's going to be fun to edit. So because when I was recording volume 1 of Crimson Hunter, I switched his voice over from my phone to my laptop. So I was like working about maybe 3 hours trying to figure out, okay, how do I replicate his voice? And I think I got it pretty well. And then my computer decided to update, and it slightly changed a bit. And I was like, no! But, so that's what I mean by the original Devlin voice. I was screaming in my closet, this amount of credits! This amount of credits! Yes! Yeah! And then I was just like, alright, bye.
Yeah. I didn't notice much of a difference. I was like, until you told me, I didn't realize there was a shift in hardware there. I didn't know. So fair play to you, man, replicating that and getting a better quality out of it. Like that's really cool.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, I don't think we can say because I think Crimson Hunter does. I'm gonna check again because
no worries.
I don't know.
I don't want to spoil anything.
I gotta keep up with the times here because I am being a very bad podcaster right now.
I'm
slapping my own wrist right now.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
So no, unfortunately, Crimson Hunter comes out after this podcast, so we can't really talk about spoilers.
Okay, no worries.
Which is a shame because I really want to talk about the episode I written, especially. But
can I say that Devlin has a potty mouth in that? Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, Devlin has a potty mouth, so sorry, kiddos. Your ears will your virgin ears.
Because in Uncharted Past he's a little bit restrained to what he's fully capable of, and now in Crimson Hunter being a bit more adult, he's been untethered a little bit.
There is one line, and I'm not gonna say the line because I know we can't talk about, but there's one line that I had to say over and over and over again because every time I recorded it, it did not sound right, and it was a massive swear word first of all, and my mom started banging on the door, and she's like, "Who are you screaming at? And why are you saying that word?" And I showed her my phone. I'm like, "It's in the script," and she was like, "Oh, carry on." It's like, sorry, Mom.
So, all right, let's focus a bit more on Devil. We'll go over to towards the other villains. So, what has been from what's been released so far, which is only Uncharted Past episode volume 3, episode 4, and volume 4, episode 1. What has been your favorite thing about Devlin? What was like the what was your favorite moment?
Oh, my favorite moment. I'm gonna have to think back because I'm trying not to get confused with what was Uncharted Past and what was Crimson Hunter.
If he was swearing in this moment, it's most likely Crimson Hunter.
Yeah, definitely that. I think for Uncharted Past, let's see. I mean, definitely the big standout for me was definitely the scene where he's like bidding for the doctor's life, and they're just going back and forth, back and forth. I was having a lot of fun with that, and I don't know if anyone caught, but there was one line that I had, and it was like, oh wait, no, this was in this was in Devlin's first episode where he goes, I can call you Doc, right? No, boohoo, you're an adult. That is one of my favorite lines that he's ever had because he's like, I don't give a fuck, I don't care.
Yeah, we should also note that you ad-lib basically 90% of the lines.
Yes, and I don't know if Connor will send this to you, but I did the full recording of one of the Devlin scenes episodes. Goodness. And it's just me, and I'm like, how can I make this line it's slightly better? And I'm like, Connor, please don't fire me. I'm trying to make this. I'm trying to improvise these lines, but I'm not trying to go way too far so that I'm completely off the tracks. I think the best one I've improvised was that of my amazing karaoke skills.
Yes,
that has launched so much. That has launched so much into the community. I mean, obviously, we're gonna have a Devlin cover album and everything. I can't confirm that, but you know,
available on all good retailers such as iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play.
Yes.
This is a Devlin original. 2, 3, 4. I'm on an intergalactic trip, and we are flying in this piece of shit. And you know what? We just passed sector 95. Yeah, we're probably gonna fucking die, but that's okay. 'Cause I'm with you. Julia, take a verse.
There is no way you're going to catch me singing. Definitely not. No.
Okay, we'll bring it back to me.
I'm not going to. Devlin, I'm not going. Fine. If it'll get you to shut up. We're on an intergalactic trip. We're gonna blow up so much shit. We battled the Centaurans, we killed some Judun, but I wouldn't be anywhere else because I'm here with you. There. How was that?
I didn't write any of the lyrics, so fuck off.
It's just I didn't expect Devlin to be this big. I didn't expect
neither.
When I initially wrote, I was like, yeah, he'd be a nice villain for this 2-part, but then he's really spun off
Yeah.
Literally, as in he's been in spin-offs, and now we're talking about a potential Devlin spin-off for his own, which, by the way, which hasn't been confirmed. We're not confirming it's happening just yet.
It's just in the talks. We're just talking about it.
It's in the talks. It's in
talks.
one of the many talks about one of the expanded universes of Overton Audios.
Yes.
Yeah. But is there anything you'd like to see Devlin do in the future that we haven't seen yet, of course, or you haven't done yet?
I would love...
one thing you'd love to...
Okay. So this is also in relationship to your other question. I believe it's in... I don't remember if this is in Crimson Hunter or if this is in Overton Audios, but there is a line that he says... It's not a spoiler, I promise. But he goes, well, as my good friend the Cybermen say, excellent. I would love to see Devlin be with the Cybermen, and they're just like, wait, this is not an enemy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, more of the Daleks.
Yeah.
Literally. And, yeah. So, moving on from Devlin, maybe we'll stick back to him later, but going into other villains, let's go with Staticus for a little bit.
Staticus. Good old Staticus.
The main man. I was rambling so much I didn't get your name.
Oh, it's Maggie? Maggie May?
I promise you, everything is completely fine.
Mr. Dawson, I think I have a story for you. Please don't kill me!
Why would I kill you? I came about that article you wrote about me.
It's made from electricity.
Yes.
If there's alien presence amongst the Earth, it's not for a good reason.
You declare a fight for this planet.
You're in danger.
Nice to see you too.
Let's see what we got.
You, Doctor, an impossible man always looking to find company because you are so afraid of being alone.
I'm the Doctor.
That doesn't explain much.
I know, it usually works.
But yeah, Staticus was very... Because I remember you messaged me. I was like, oh my god, Daniel J. Patton wants me to be in his thing. Okay. Yeah. And I was like, okay, it's a static creature made of static electricity. Let's see what we can do here. And I started going through like my ring modulator, my... well, I didn't have a vocoder at the time. I do now. And then I just started playing with a bunch of voice changer apps on my phone. And I'm giving away a little bit of the magic of Staticus, but it is done on a very, like a free-to-download app on my phone. And I'm trying very hard to replicate his voice onto my computer, but I don't know how that was done.
For what reason?
Just in case, like, the app is somewhat removed.
Just in case he comes back.
Just in case, yeah. Just because, like, I'll still, like, go onto my phone and just be like, I'll do the laugh that he does.
Yeah, you always
and I'll
send
just
me the
send
laugh.
it to you. I'm just like,
You're
I'm
just like,
back.
I still have it. It's like, yeah.
Don't tempt me. But no, he's gone. He's gone. But yeah, just in case like the app like is just removed from the like Play Store or something, and for anything, like the voice just needs to come back. I'll just know how to do it on my computer. So yeah. But I remember I did about 20 voice tests for Staticus, and it wasn't.
I think you sent me some of them.
Yeah, I sent you I think about like the first 15, and some of them were like high pitch, some of them were low pitch, and then the last one that we actually picked for, or well, you picked for Staticus, was the one that I wasn't the most confident with. I thought that just doesn't sound that good to me, but now I look back, I'm like I couldn't have it any other way. It just works with him, and that was the first full CGI character, wasn't it? In DW2012?
Yes, and DW2012 was the first full CGI character. And I always have pleasure of having that.
I love that. I love that so much. I feel like I'm a little staple in DW 2012 history.
Exactly.
And
You're
they're
the voice
12
of the
years,
first.
because this is the 12-year anniversary of DW 2012.
Yes, as of recording on, it is Friday the 16th. Is the 12th-year anniversary of DW 2012.
Oh yeah, it is the 16th. I thought it was the 15th.
It is the 12th. No, 12th.
The 12th. Yeah, 12-year anniversary. 12-year anniversary.
No. It's 16th of
April.
April is the date of the 12th anniversary.
Yes, I thought it was the 15th of April today. I'm like, oh, that's 12 years. But yeah,
Is it 15th?
it's the it's the 16th. I was wrong. Yesterday was the 15th.
I'm like,
I'm
confused. It's hard to. Time is very irrelative in a pandemic world.
Time is relative. What are you talking about? Anyway,
it is. Yeah, and because like to tell a really bad story here.
Oh no!
On my part, Staticus was originally going to be played by someone else.
Yeah, understandable.
And I didn't know you at the time, so
yeah,
I didn't know you could do him. Didn't know your good voices. So I was like, and then I'm not gonna name who, but he didn't do it in the end, and I needed someone fast, and because I need to make a trailer. Because it looked like in Series 7 they're going to have a static creature made of static electricity. I'm like, oh shit, I need to get a trailer right before
Season 7. What was in Season 7?
No, season 11.
Season 11, yes.
Series 11. In Series 11 there's a trailer that showed like the big orb tentacle.
Oh yeah,
static electricity, and it looked like it was going to be like what was Staticus was going to be. So I was freaking out a little bit. Like, I had to drop a trailer to
we have to do it first.
Yeah. And I thought I'd include a few lines. I didn't get the lines in time, but I still had you cast in the role through Connor's recommendation. And honestly, I'm so happy you did in the end, because it is such an iconic voice now.
Thank you. I love his voice now. Like, at first I was like, does he really want this voice? Like, I don't know. And now I'm just like, yep, it's the best. Yeah. It is, in my opinion, the best. I mean, it's always, that's kind of like what voice acting is, because I've done like stuff for like DDK Production, Alliance Cinema, and all them. Like, it's always like the voice that you like the least is sometimes the best voice to others. So
I think I've sort of seen feeling sort of like you pressure yourself to make the best quality thing possible, and you put so much ads, you think you may overstep the mark just a little too much sometimes.
Right.
I get that a lot of time with visual effects. People say like, it looks good, but can you tone it down just a little bit? Just like there's a little bit, there's a few extra flares I like you to just take away. It's like, but the flares make it look good.
But the flares look good.
It's like, yes, but this is not J.J. Abrams' Star Trek.
No, this isn't The Force Awakens.
This isn't Into Darkness. This isn't. What other films has
Lost? I don't know. I know J.J. Abrams did Lost, but I haven't seen Lost.
Well, if we're talking about just the Glenn Stars in general, I was probably going to say Transformers next.
Yes, Transformers.
Yeah. It's just no, that's explosions.
So many explosions.
And half-naked woman.
Maybe. I don't know.
Stuff like Michael Bay.
Stop. Get some help.
How do we get here?
Michael Bay just teleports into your room, just like, I heard you were talking shit about me. I don't know how Michael Bay talks. I don't think he talks that deep.
Yeah. Well, it's proven he doesn't have a voice, because in the films I've watched anyway.
So back to Staticus, because we got distracted.
Yeah. All right, back to Staticus anyway. He's the introductory villain to Fracture Timeline, and I felt a lot of pressure to deliver a villain that was threatening, and you really, really did deliver on that front.
Yeah, and I remember, because the way I recorded it, I was just sitting in my bed with my phone up, and I'm just, like, reading the lines, and, if any of you follow my Instagram, like, the first post that I really did about, like, my characters was Staticus, and I talked about, like, how there would be times where I would just be doing the line over and over again, because it was kind of like the 10th Planet Cybermen, how they had to speak, because, it was... Well, I'm trying to think of what the line was. It was it was like, soon my race will return, stronger and more powerful than ever. And I remember I had to go like, soon my race will return more strong, because the way the voice app worked, it would like alternate which like where your voice had the most emphasis, and it would like kind of scramble it around. So I had to like find the pattern with that, and I was like, okay, I think I got it down. But in the actual episode, it sounded like he was saying it just like, soon my race will return, more stronger and powerful. And I was like, oh, that worked perfectly.
Yeah, it really did. Because I think you sent me some tests that sounded like, sort of like the tone sound, like it was like very like scrambled, like it was like like a hiss, nearly it was like a hiss.
Yeah.
Like it was like on the receiving side of a phone call with bad static.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, there was like a telephone, like yeah, it's oh, are you talking about the sound where, you know, he's like coming out of the wires and stuff?
No, there's like, I can't remember exactly how it's been so long now. It's been nearly 3 years now, since
2018.
Yeah, been nearly 3 years now since Staticus, and whenever I had to, we did those initial tests.
Yeah.
So I can't remember exactly, but it did sound sort of like the 10th Planet Cyberman a little bit.
Yes. Okay, I know which one you're talking. Yeah, that was literally me with like a giant like cup, like a glass cup, but no, not a cup. It was a vase. Luke, goodness, I had a vase, and I just held it up to my mouth and said all the lines, and I'm like, I don't like how that sounds. But I'm like, he might like it, so I'll send it off anyways.
Yeah, I did like all the tests. But I think going for more natural voice did end up working best.
Yeah.
Because I like that. Just that natural soundingness, but that has a bit off static.
It just sounded off. Yeah. And I brought this up. The sound when he comes out of the wire, that was also recorded by me. I did if you hear him like when he's coming out of Maggie's laptop wire and then out of the VHS system, when he's about to like manifest himself.
I was like, that sort of like aura sound, that natural sound Stanicus emits that was also done by
that was just me going into a microphone for about like, I had to take such a big breath and hold it for like about 30 or 40 seconds, and it just worked. It was so good. I was like, oh, that sounds so good.
It was really good. I'm so glad you included that, because I was like, halfway through, I was like, what do I do? What do I do for his like presence? And like the static sound really adds to it.
Because it matches his voice as well. So it doesn't sound unnatural. Like, it's just like, regular like Tesla coils static sounds with this not Tesla coil sounding voice.
Yeah.
It all fits together.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I love about Staticus, is that it's just that you have to really work with how his voice sounds, like from my perspective, at least, my perspective, how I do the voice, I have to really like kind of put my work in to match. Okay, no, the emphasis isn't put on the right word in this sound. Got to do it again, and it's just over and over. But in the end, we always get there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you did, and you asked a lot of questions, especially about like pronunciations, especially for Staticus, because you're like, how do you pronounce this? And I'm like, I don't actually know.
Because I remember, I was like, is it Staticos?
Because I'm pretty sure because we haven't filmed the scenes where we actually pronounce Staticus yet. I was like, what is the pronunciation of this character? Because that was debates myself and Luke Newman and Connor had for a while. I was like, what is the pronunciation of Staticus?
And then I'm just like, I am Staticus.
Yeah, and the way you sound is like, the way because he has this the way he confidently says, like, we got say it that way.
Perfect.
Yeah. And the way we filmed, because you filmed you record your lines before we filmed the majority of the scenes with Staticus. So when we came to like the living room scenes and the TARDIS scenes, we were able to play them whilst we're shooting.
Yes.
It really helped with most of the scenes, especially in the TARDIS for that confrontation.
Yeah. That's that's my favorite scene out of that whole episode. Is
me too.
That confrontation scene where he's just like, no. He's like, no. What? What is this?
Yeah. You declare a fight for this planet.
You declare a fight for this battle. Yeah. It's so fun.
It's so good.
And to be defeated by a fucking VHS tape. My God.
We went for that one.
Yeah.
He's like,
and unfortunately, Maggie had to be doused with water, much to her demise.
Anya is still out for blood for that one.
Which is funny because when he transfers into Maggie, his voice goes down a few octaves.
Yeah, because I didn't know how exactly to do the voice, so I was like, okay, how do I just basically put a killer ringer sound on Maggie's voice, but it didn't sound natural. I'm planning to do a digital remaster of Series 1 of Fractured Time at some point, so...
Yeah, I'll if you need me to, I'll do it.
Yeah, we'll probably have you...
Because I remember I originally asked
Maggie,
you... I originally asked you, do you want me to record these lines where she's possessed? Because I'd read it says Staticus transfers into Maggie's body or something like that, and I was like, do you want me to record these lines where it's Staticus Maggie, Maggie?
If I said no at the time, I was an idiot because I would have loved to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was probably an idiot and said no because I was probably too lazy to edit that scene.
No worries. No worries.
But yeah, definitely if we do the remaster, the digital remaster, because people ask me, are you doing a remaster? Because when I said the words remaster, they thought I meant a Luke Newman remaster.
Yeah, like refilming everything.
It's like, no, I'm talking about just a digital remaster where I do the VFX and
Luke does the filming, you do the VFX.
And probably upscale the footage so it doesn't get as compressed by YouTube and their bloody compression stuff that I don't like.
Because it just drops.
The thing with Connor doesn't have to deal with that. Well, he does deal with it most of the time because he does do filming himself. But me and Luke constantly worry about is the compression, and I think the worst compression in one of the episodes in Fractured Timeline is definitely episode 2.
Oh God, yeah.
Because there's so much. It's set in so much dark.
Yeah.
And I just realized you could barely see a Snows in the spatial interior scenes.
Episode 2 was, I think, it was one of my favorites. Yeah. Or no. Episode 3 is the candidate. That is my favorite. I'm being unbiased because Staticus is obviously episode 1, but the candidate really is my favorite because I remembered. Who plays the Ronnie? What's her name?
Kate Asman.
Kate. I remembered her from Overton Audios, and I remember listening to that, and I was like, "Wait a minute, she played the Ronnie in that." Wait, she's playing the Ronnie again? I was like,
live action.
Like that would be the equivalency of if they brought, that was the equivalency of when they name dropped all of the big Finnish companions in Night of the Doctor for me. I was just like, oh my God, yes. It was full circle. It was so complete. I loved it.
Yeah, so good.
That was a great, and it looked good too. It really
that
looked
was
the best.
That was Connor Chadwick's magnificent cinematography there.
Yes,
because he was on camera the whole time.
Good job, Connor. Applause for you.
The master, your master. Because if you haven't had enough villains on your roster already, you have the master on that list as well.
Yes. So I originally played the master in either General Marsh or Veritas. I do not remember which one.
I never could have predicted this. I am not the Doctor. I know. Whilst you've been in this trap, I've been able to analyze your timeline, Veritas. The parallel doctors. The cravat doctor, the law doctor, the fighting doctor, the science doctor, and now the killing doctor. The irony of that name. It's not my name.
Wait, what exactly are you director of?
This place. I am the director of Broadmoor Mental Hospital, posing as Director Stephen Kenrick.
Why tell us all this?
You're in a hospital for a mentally deranged. Would anyone believe you? Now, yes, Henry. Leave him alone. I shan't be leaving him alone. He is mine. An orange peel? No, you can't. You are all mine now!
You've killed him.
I originally played that incarnation of the Master at... everyone will say this. I played him like the Joker, and I agree. I did play him like the Joker. And I originally recorded that version of the Master before Sacha Dhawan's completely snapped version of the Master. Because when I originally played him, I wanted to take John Sims' Master and give him a sugar crash or a sugar rush and just make him 10 times more insane. And you ended up with this Joker sounding version of the Master. And then and this was in the early days of my voice acting career. So it didn't I'm happy with the performance, but I know I could have done better. And then Connor asked me to do it again for the Young Doctor Adventures, and that was when I really took it up, because that was Connor said that was before we first see my Master. So that was the story of him transitioning into the cracked maniac that he was.
It is good to see you again, Doctor. Truly.
It can't be. I saw you die.
That routine is getting a little old now. How could the Master of all be killed so easily?
Master.
Quite. Dalek Supreme?
You call for me, Master!
It appears the Doctor has discovered our operation. You know what to do.
You can't do this, Slave Master.
Silence! Or I will have you executed too.
I had so much fun with that, and I recorded it before Sacha Dhawan was revealed to be the Master, and everyone's like, oh, he's so much like Sacha Dhawan because it was released afterwards. But I'm like, I didn't even know. I didn't take any inspiration from him. But, it sounded so good. But I had a lot of fun bringing the Master back and just kind of playing him kind of as this cool, deep, a bit yes, I'm up to some devious tricks and things like that.
Yes, indeed. And it's because I saw your Master, and it's like he's a bit more frantic. He's a bit lost of control, and I was like, oh, this is good. I like it. And I've sort of noticed, because I haven't listened to I think your first appearance as the Master, so I don't really get the Joker thing, but I can see like a sprinkle of Joker in there that you're sort of like introducing to sort of feed on to his ever growing insanity.
Yes. Because I asked Connor, because Connor told me that this is the origin story of how he, started off as, normal, quote unquote, and transitioned into absolute lunatic, stay away from him. And, there were even things like with the laugh, because his laugh is very Mark Hamill Joker in Veritas. I'm pretty sure it was Veritas, not General Marsh. I'm going to be wrong on that. I probably am. But, and then, so, whenever my Master would laugh in the Young Doctor Adventures, I made sure to kind of keep it a bit high-pitched, so it was more like... so that it would kind of be like a chuckle of the same laugh, instead of this explosive ha-ha-ha laugh that I'm not going to do, because my microphone will explode, probably, and all of the listeners' eardrums. But, yeah.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun playing the Master, and... on my original, on the first ever appearance of my Master, Connor used an old picture of an old Star Wars fan film that I was planning on making, but I never made, for my Master. And I was like, I did pictures for you. Why didn't you use those? And he said, oh, the angle wasn't right. I'm like, oh, okay. So then when I got to do it again, I was like, all right, Connor, what angle do you want for these photos? And he said, okay, just do it upper body. I'm like, I got it. And I did them, and it is the same outfit that would have been used for the original episode that my Master appeared in.
Yeah, I think as well. When you took the photos, you were nearly bald as well.
Yes,
you shaved your head.
I shaved my head.
Instant.
I did shave my head. That was just a personal choice of what the hell? Why not? Never again will I do that. Unless I'm like being paid to do it, like I'm in a film or something. I'm like, you need to shave your head. I'm like, all right.
Was it sort of like lockdown, like quarantine insanity hitting in? I
Yeah.
was nearly there, man.
Yeah.
I was nearly there. I it was one point my hair was like down to my ears.
Yes.
And I was like to myself, I got my beard trimmer. I was like, don't do it.
Don't do
it, Dad.
No, I remember I just like I started here and I just like I'm pointing to part of my head you can't see. I just went and I was like, oh, now I've started. I can't stop now, and I regret that decision. Cause yeah. And then I grew out my beard, and my beard doesn't grow right, and I looked horrible. And I thought this is the peak look. No, it was not, Luke. No, it wasn't. But for the Master, it was luckily I took those photos in a time before that, so I think I liked his look, because he definitely looked like, this is what someone told me, he looked like a casino owner that you cannot trust. I'm like, that kind of works, I guess. I've never seen what a casino owner looks like.
It looks like he was just like a shady, I don't know, because like he just looked like some sort of shady businessman.
Yes.
Almost.
Yeah. That was kind of what I was going for. Especially with the suspenders. The red shirt was something I definitely wanted to do. Originally, I had an orange shirt. I thought, nah, the red. I gotta stick to the red. The red just looks good. And I remember Connor sent me the poster for, I think it was the Slave Master. And I didn't even recognize myself. I was like, oh, that looks cool. I saw Luke Lane on the poster. I'm like, oh, am I finally voicing the Daleks? And I saw John and I'm like, wait. Oh, it's me! I was like, that's cool. So I thought that was really cool.
He's like, you got to enslave John's Dalek voices.
Yes. Yes. Ultimate.
Would you like to come back as the Master again?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We need to do a thing where it's just sort of like just pitching absolute panic. We need to do an audio where it has Staticus, Devlin, and the Master, and it just basically, if anyone was listening in on you doing all the voices at once, it just looked like you went completely insane.
On today's episode of How You Ended Up in the ER, this episode,
it's like you in the straight vest, just like rocking in the cradle position. And
I'm
just like jumping from Devlin, Staticus, and the Master at once.
I get schizophrenia of all of my DW 2012 Overton Audios characters.
Yeah. Was that famous like Ron Williams quote? So like, I was like, I don't hear voices, but I do them.
I don't hear voices, but I do them.
Right,
I wouldn't be opposed to doing that. Oh gosh.
Oh no. And just to close off the podcast, we're going into 40 minutes now. And
No,
I'm not going to be happy with the length of this.
I'm sorry, Connor.
Very quickly. We're sorry. Let's go into some of your personal projects. You got quite a few at the moment.
So this is a series that my girlfriend, this is her series actually. I'm just the assistant everything on it. Like director. I'm not really a director. I'm more of just like, I help with the writing as well. I haven't listed anything beforehand. I help with the writing. I've also helped with casting and just kind of, I'm just kind of the assistant on it. But overall, this is her series more. And this is based on one of her original characters by the name of Venus Flint.
I've always had problems fitting in. Mother said people shun what they don't understand. Law said it scared people. I was content with the little life I'd made for myself. Then I met him. The funny little man in a bow tie. I didn't know it yet. This man would whisk me away from my cozy life and give me the world. Venus.
Venus.
Venus. Venus.
Venus. And it all started with an arrow, a wedding, and a war.
Venus Flint.
Now, keen listeners will know that Flint is the last name of another character in Doctor Who, Miss Jenny Flint of the Paternoster Gang. And essentially what this is, Venus Flint is the adopted daughter of the Paternoster Gang, Madame Vastra, Jenny, and Strax. Now, this isn't something like, oh, Jenny goes up to Vastra, I want to get a kid, okay, let's go adopt one. No, Venus was given to them. And the first episode that we are working on currently is kind of, it's the first episode, so it's, very special. And we are basically doing a retelling of A Good Man Goes to War, with where we've inserted Venus Flint in it. So we have I have confirmation that I can say we do have the Simon Fisher Becker, who played the original Dorian Maldivar, will be appearing in this. And
cool.
I'm very excited about that. And I did that kind of behind my girlfriend's back because I wanted to kind of surprise her with it. And I can't confirm, she did kind of cry on me. I was like, no, it's okay. And she's like, I know! It's happy tears, happy tears.
Boyfriend of the century here.
Yes. Oh, I hope so. But it's been a real process of getting this series kind of off the ground. We've had so many problems come up with just like casting and not the cast. Like, we've had no problem with the cast whatsoever. We love our cast so much. I forgot to mention that George Gydra does appear, the blonde doctor himself. He will be playing Rory Williams. So that's very fun.
That's a great cast right there.
I know. But like just things with like finding the right people to cast in the roles, different writing. Like, we've had problems with the writing. Like, we were like, okay, I know because did you hear about how in Texas we had like a snow apocalypse come through? I
have not heard about that.
Okay, so back in like February, early March, on Valentine's Day weekend, we had snow come in. It never snows in Texas, so that kind of put us all without power. Well, I didn't lose power. My girlfriend did, and it was it was really bad for her because we'd be on the phone and it would just be like, okay, you've got about 5 minutes of like good audio quality, and then it'd just be like connecting, and then it would just like call dropped, and we were just like, this is horrible. And we were writing the script during that, so that was kind of like a real pain, but we got it done, and we are both really excited about this. And we do plan to do a series with this. It's called Venus Flint of Paternoster Row. And I don't know if by the time this comes out we'll have a trailer, but if we do, we'll sneak it in. But we're really excited, and we've got all original music. We've got our own little composer. His name is James York. He is also doing an audio series, which I've been a part of, where I'm basically Nicholas Briggs for them. He is I love him. But back to the Venus stuff. So we have a few episodes that are based around like Paternoster Gang episodes. Like, if you've listened to the Paternoster Gang box sets by Big Finish, or even just episodes like The Crimson Horror. The Crimson Horror. Not The Crimson Hunter.
I was like, what Crimson Hunter episode? I'm not filming any episode like that.
Devlin meets...
Partially because it's not released yet.
Devlin meets Jenny and Vastra and Strax. He's just like, I like y'all. Y'all are funny. And then Venus does then meet the Victorian London Torchwood group, which also has a familiar face, quote unquote, because it's audio. Chelsea Logan, who plays Julia Breslin, will be appearing in the cast as well. So yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Good old Chelsea there.
Yeah, we are still casting, so I don't know. I have reached out to a few other people who are from Overton Audios. However, we're still working on casting those characters. But yeah, it's gonna be this is my girlfriend's passion project, and we're both really excited about it. And
it sounds really exciting.
It's gonna be an emotional ride for what we have in the future. I can't say anything else. But yeah, it's just gonna be so fun. And Venus does meet the 11th Doctor, obviously, because the first episode is A Good Man Goes to War. So she meets the 11th Doctor, and she basically, she's not really like your stereotypical companion, like, Doctor, what's that? It's more like they have just sort of like a best friend relationship, more like the Doctor and Donna, something like that. But they really do bounce off of each other, and sometimes they act like really awkward teenagers around each other, and it's been a lot of fun to write, and we have some really funny moments in the series. But what we do have planned is going to break the audience's hearts, and I'm going to apologize for everything we do to you, audience members, because some of you are not going to like me afterwards.
As a person who knows what it's like to emotionally traumatize an audience, I feel for you.
Oh no. But yeah, that is what is to come on my end. So I'm working on that audio series, and I've also got the audio series by James York. But Venus Flint of Paternoster Row will be coming out sometime later this year. We're working on having another read through, just because we kind of had a bit of a rough first read through. A lot of the cast just wasn't there. So we're going to try to get the entire cast together to do a read through, and then from there we will do the lines. But yeah, that is Venus Flint of Paternoster Row by JoBeth Eddings, my girlfriend.
Very good, and the best of luck to you with that, and that's basically where I have time now in this section of the podcast.
No worries.
It's been really good having you on the podcast, Luke, and you can go support Luke by following his... I think your public Instagram is Voiced by Luke Lane, isn't it?
Voiced by Luke Lane and CBHL Productions.
CBHL Productions. Go and follow them, and for all updates regarding Venus Flint of Paternoster
Row.
I can never say it.
No worries.
It's my inner dyslexia. But
no worries.
But yes, definitely go and support them on this project, and go check them out. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Luke, and I will speak to you soon. All right.
See you soon.
And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that segment with Luke. It sounded like you and Luke had a lot of fun chatting.
We did, yeah. That was the first time meeting him, actually, when I Skype or Zoom called together. It was the first time we chatted. So we just I don't know. We just didn't realize how long we were talking for, and I was like, oh no, yeah, Connor has to edit this.
Yeah. Right, so now it's time for the comments section, where we're exclusively going to be reading comments from Uncharted Past Volume 4. If we find any time, we might read some comments from Torchwood World at War as well, because obviously it's also come out last month. But for now, we'll just focus on Volume 4. So I'll start off by reading the comments for Episode 1. We have a comment here. We have a comment here from Professor Provolone saying, right off the bat, with the cold open, I could feel the emotional weight of this episode. The musical direction was especially on point. I'm very excited to hear the rest of this volume. Of course, we may see another comment from them on one of the later episodes as well. We've got another comment here from TARDIS Glitch saying, Episode 1 being kicked off with a bang. Absolutely adored the story. Such a fun but dangerous way to use the fob watch. But Daniel and Callum's acting were at their best here so far. Devlin is always great to see, but my only problem is that I wish I wished Declan didn't believe things a bit more and had some false memories, like how the 10th Doctor spoke about his mother and father and how Gallifrey was like a place in Ireland. But overall, a fantastic opener to the final volume. The only reason I read this one out is because I think we've briefly chatted about this before, Dan. There is a reason as to why Declan doesn't have a backstory, and it's because in human nature...
TARDIS was one who planted the false memories into John Smith's mind.
Yeah, the TARDIS created a backstory, invented a setting and integrated. So as a result, Declan just believed themselves to be human, and that was it. Didn't really... Obviously, I think it was probably made up of some of the Doctor's like subconscious anyway, making it up, but...
Or maybe like between the seconds the Doctor had to between his conscious being put in from his mind to the fob watch, he very hastily created a character to.
I mean, I don't necessarily think it's that deep. I just think it's a case of Declan doesn't have a backstory. He's just Declan. He's just a human and has some Irish traits because the Doctor is the Irish Doctor, you know?
Yeah.
Right, so some comments for episode 2 now. Osvate Records, I think that's how you say it. Osvate Records, something like that. They said, really hope this is leading to a class-style spin-off featuring Nathan, Amber, and their friends. Well, you got to thank Daniel for that not working.
Oh, no, yeah.
Basically,
you said you're going to name me as something.
Oh yes, I'm naming you the murderer.
Oh yes,
because the two friends who are in this story, Greg and Russell, also appear in episodes 3 and 4. Well, not just 3, and they get murdered by the Master. And at the end, when they're able to fix this and sort of reverse some things, who forgot to bring them back to life, Daniel?
Forgot to resurrect them at the end and set up the class spin-off or the sort of spin-off idea we had, and then we didn't realize, or I didn't realize this until we have sent the script up to get recorded. So it was far too late to.
Initially, I'd actually assumed that it just all been reversed, and then then about towards the end of recording, you were saying, "Oh, that's a problem." I'm like, okay, great, thank you. So basically, all of their friends are dead.
Well, we never say they did not die, or they did. I don't know.
Mate,
it could.
You said it at the time, and we've just said it on the podcast. If anything, that's a confirmation that don't try and undo a murder once you've done it.
I'm sorry.
Look what you've done. One more comment from episode 2 was from Professor Provolone again. They put in some time codes for the episodes. One of the time codes is relating to a reference about because in Class, the big Doctor Who spin-off, they went to a newly built version of Coal Hill School, where they'd obviously just rebuilt a new, I think it was Coal Hill Academy now. But there was a reference to that when in the Parents' Evening episode that the teacher and the Doctor are talking about that. So they did a great job with the Easter eggs, reminding us this is pre-Class. Obviously, there's a twist at the end. I don't want to say too much about the twist, even though we've already kind of said it. I'm just not going to bother going into the details. They said they couldn't actually take this bit, that I was both grasping for air at the genuine surprise of the twist whilst laughing hysterically that the DW 2012 meme came true, which, everyone kind of guessed it. Overall, this episode was really great with the amount of impact that the last 3 minutes had, which was a lot. My only complaint is that honestly, no surprise to me, but I feel like more could have been done with the Cybermen. But I do understand just how difficult it is to write them. And yeah, in all fairness, it was trying to. The only problem I think I have for Parents' Evening overall is that it was doing 3 things at once. It was my love of Class, whilst also going, we really need to have a Cyberman story for the Irish Doctor, whilst also going, there's a twist at the end of this.
Yeah.
You got to build up to that.
Yeah. But as well as that, at the end of the day, the Cyberman killed a student and converted them brutally into a Cyberman.
You were going to say a child, weren't you?
I was going to say a child because in a day they were 17, 16.
That's still a child.
I know, but I don't want to say the Cyberman killed a child. Well, the Irish Doctor was in the building.
You can't avoid facts in the same way that you've also, as a writer, have murdered 2 children, Greg and Russell.
Don't say that.
Yeah, so you're just as worse.
I'm not the only Doctor Who writer who kills children.
You're such a weird sentence. But just think of it, you're just as worse as the Cybermen.
I'm just as bad as Chris Chibnall.
It wasn't just Chibnall exclusive.
I know.
You had school reunion. You had school reunion where Anthony Head, the head teacher, goes in and eats a child.
True. That's true.
Literally goes, it's almost time for lunch.
No one's safe in Doctor Who. No one is safe in Doctor Who.
Not only that, but it was also an orphan.
Oh no.
She says, I've not got a mummy or daddy. I don't have a home. Oh, no one to miss you. It's almost come in.
Where has this conversation gone?
Well, it's gone to
I'm just
you.
going to go into the comments on episode 3.
It's talking about
murder
Cybermen
of
didn't
children.
do much. Talking about the fact that Cybermen didn't do much. We went, they murdered a child, and you're like, it's not a child, it's a student. And I would argue anyone under the age of 18 is legally still a child. And you're like, no. And then you said Chibnall exclusively murders children. I went, no. Russell T Davies did the same thing.
That's true.
Also,
And
I think there were some children murdered at the Cole Hill era with in series.
Oh yeah. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't remember the main cast name. But remember, one of the main cast members, his girlfriend was brutally murdered in the first episode, and he lost his leg.
Oh yeah, that's in Class. I meant just series 8 of Doctor Who, but
I thought you meant on Class. Definitely,
Class works as well. I mean, Capaldi was there, I suppose.
Yeah. So there you go. I'm not the only one.
No. Well, anyway.
And also, Greg and Russell were 18. Also, Greg and Russell were 18. They were in their last year of A level, so they were 18 years old. So therefore, they were not children. But still, it was quite.
This is what we murdered with. I did not murder children. I did not murder them in the story. They were adults, just on the cusp of adulthood.
But if you think about it, it's still very tragic.
Shall we move on?
Yes, please. And also, you wrote that script. You're the one who wrote the script with the dying child. Although I did approve it.
You approved it.
So we're equally to blame for that.
Yes, very well.
All right. So going on to The Rift Between Us Part 1. Going with Jivan Joan. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name right. Another very outstanding episode. This episode from Volume 4 was very masterful. Callum Quigg, as always, knocks it out of the park as Nathan Chase, and I can't wait to hear how the Doctor reacts to him being accepted to uni. Emily Murr is fantastic as Amber. I love her character. Damien McDevitt gave a absolute masterful performance, pun intended. Daniel Pan always surprised me as his role as the Irish Doctor. 1,000 out of 1,000. Thank you very much.
I like the irony of saying that everyone else was great, but you surprise him.
Why was I not good before? Well, everyone else was great. It's like, he surprised me with a great performance.
Wow, I didn't realise Dan was that good.
Obviously, he didn't say it, but it was still up. But thank you very much. From Patrick Sherwood, love this. It is amazing. Cannot wait for part 2. But I don't understand why there's 2 Russells on the screen. Yes, Connor, why is there 2 Russells on the screen?
I will simply read my response to that comment.
Please do.
An honest mistake. I was just updating the cast list from the previous episode and I'd forgotten to remove it. I forget how much attention to detail you all have. Yeah. Basically, episode 2 for the visuals or for the YouTube video, Joshua Lee, who plays Russell, was at the bottom of the also starring in that. And I was copying things and reshifting the names because it was mostly the same cast. When I'd copy and pasted his name on top, I had forgotten to remove his at the bottom. That's it. And I did, and fun fact, I did not realise that until it actually went out, and this had been finished for a good 7 months.
Yeah. So awesome sake, and in all fairness, I think people are more
Everyone
aware.
went on about it. I can't get over how much of it became a controversy.
I know.
Everyone was mentioning it on the Discord. Everyone was like, "Why are there 2 Russells here?" It's like, is there another one? And I'm like, no, it's just a mistake.
It's a mistake. It's not like you. The thing is, though, it's not like you spelt a name wrong either.
It was just a case of someone looked at it. Someone looked at it and went, "But what could this mean?" And I'm like, "A mistake. It's just literally. Please stop."
Joshua Lee was so good as Russell, he had to be put down twice. We'll leave it there.
Yeah. In fairness, Joshua Lee is an old friend of mine from uni. He and I went, because when we had our first year of uni, we were having to bring multiple subjects merged together. So he was in animation and I was film. And we hung out for about a year, and then I got back in contact with him quite recently, and he was trying his hand at voice acting because he was doing his own animation still, so he was doing a bit of that, and then I thought, you know what, I need to cast someone, and I haven't spoken to Josh in ages, so, and I thought it'd be a good way to get him involved as well, you know.
Yeah, it'd be good. And I think as well, people are a lot more alert with these credits and the volumes because the credits always changed. In all fairness, episode 3 is the only time the credits don't change, because in episode 1 we had the Doctor, the Declan being turned back into the Irish Doctor, and we had the reveal of the Master. The credits were always shifting, and we especially with part 2. Which one more comment from episode 3 is, I'm thinking about building a robot dog. No.
Yeah.
From Luke Lane.
You really hate
and going on,
don't you?
I always try to feed that into these scripts somehow.
Yeah, why do you hate K9? I've never asked that.
Have we not discussed this before? Because
No,
I'm pretty sure
I was going to say I feel like we have, but I genuinely cannot. I do not know why you hate.
I don't want to go into it too much because I do believe we discussed it before, but basically, long story short, is when I was filming some parts with Luke Newman with series 3 of the original DW 2012 series, I did a lot of scenes with K9, and I kept tripping over him, and eventually went from I just keep tripping over him to eventually over the next 20 or 30 trips, I was like, yeah, I'm starting to brew a deep hatred towards this metal dog.
So it was a case of, it's not even the character that annoys you, it's just the fact that he was sat in the prop that Luke had made was sat in an awkward position that kept tripping you over. That's why you hate K9.
Yeah, and even though
it's like he didn't even do anything to you. It's not like you watched a classic story and went, God, he's annoying. No, you were just like, no, the prop that we had I kept tripping over it, and I hate the prop for it.
In all fairness,
the inanimate object. I hate the.
In all fairness, I do have a favorite episode of the classic series with K9 in it.
Go on.
The Leisure Hive, more specifically, the opening.
My God, he's not even in that. He's in the beginning. Goes to swim, and I thought you were going to start talking about the Fromasi, because I'm all right. I want anyone anyone has listened this far, we must advocate for the Fromasi to be in an Irish Doctor story if we ever do one.
Oh no!
Yes, you mentioned Fromasi.
No, it's not happening.
It has to happen. Everyone fight for this. We must start a crowdfunder or a petition. We must get the government involved.
Anyway, let's move on to episode 4, the finale. All right. So with the finale, we have 2 comments here. From TARDIS Glitch. Wow, just wow. This was beautiful. What an ending. I knew the Master would use Fiona, but that moment it really broke me. I was in tears, and the Master hinting at Nathan's death was very clever. But those last 10 minutes, I believe, were so beautiful and summed up this entire era. Family always played a big part in Uncharted Past, and now it feels like it was ended the best way possible. God damn, though, that's twice I cried to these audios. Sorry, TARDIS Glitch.
I'm trying to remember what the other one was. I don't know why in my mind it was probably. I imagine it was probably Julia's departure in Resurrection season 3. A lot of people got emotional during that, but I think this one has taken the new top spot because it's a father and a son saying goodbye, which is something I think everyone can relate to.
Yeah,
some shape or form. It's a family.
I do. Yeah, because there was a moment there I did show to some my family, which is basically the chat that the Doctor has with Shirley, which is Amber's mum. And it's basically when she says, even when the kids go, we still are parents. We still take those lessons that we taught them. We take them with us as well.
And as well as that, what the children teach you about life as well.
Exactly. The Doctor got to see life a bit differently, being a father for 18 years to a human.
He could have just, he could have just chose not to Could have just chosen not to adopt Nathan after what happened, and then just leave and sulk, and he'd be completely different. He'd probably be full of regret as well.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah. It's just it's definitely I like to think Uncharted Past is a story about family and parenthood as well.
Yes.
And it's about, I don't know, it's just a lot. There's a lot of themes to Uncharted Past. Even I'm struggling now to dig them all up. But
yeah,
it was to me that it had so many themes of family and growing up and parenthood. And yeah, we're going too much into this, but
no worries. What I'll do is then before we move on to the next section, I'll quickly read the comments for Torchwood World at War, because I just figured that came out as well. We might as well quickly look at that. Got a comment here from Michael Cox for Torchwood World at War, saying, excellent, more first-class drama. I'm eager to hear more of Matt's adventures and hopefully for the revelation of how he got to 1914. I like the other characters, each one interesting, and it's good that you're beginning to flesh them out and by delving a little into their individual backstories. Forgive me if I may make a minor point. If Hathaway was in the Navy prior to becoming the operational head of Torchwood, he wouldn't have been a general. His equivalent rank would have been admiral. I'm constantly guilty of getting these things wrong in terms of military ranking. It's a case of he wasn't always meant to be in the Navy. It was during the script editing phase that we changed it to be the Navy, because we've always done things where people have been working on land, but then we were thinking to make him totally different and out of his depth. We took him from the Navy instead, from like on sea fighting, on sea action, and all of a sudden stuck him in the middle of London. It worked better for his character to say how out of depth he was. But then we never thought about the military ranking, which is our mistake. We got another comment here from someone called Hidden Frog, who says, great episode. The characterization was a perfect pace to introduce and make the audience see them as people. Very commendable given the length of the episode. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this story goes. Well-timed humor really elevated it without breaking the drama. I'm very happy with how Torchwood World at War was received, because this is technically the first Torchwood audio drama we've done at Overton Audios.
Yeah, it's true.
I was very worried about how to approach it, but all in all, I think it's gone well. There's going to be three of these stories, including a special like minisode thing that comes out on the 15th anniversary of Torchwood, that being on the 22nd. That links into the final story of these three, as well as other things we're going to be making in the future. But speaking of Torchwood, Daniel, shall we move on to my conversation with Callum, Trevitt and Reuben Roper on Torchwood 2000?
Oh, absolutely.
They're sending us away, aren't they?
It's just not safe here for anyone anymore.
Miss, where are they taking us?
To safety.
That's where the rich people live.
Enemies of the government shall be eliminated.
That's us. Everything's wrong. The past and the future are all misaligned. Don't move.
And you destroyed them!
Just stop it! Everyone's dead. Even the president.
It's the end.
No, no!
I control it all.
Of everything.
It's the doctor. Hi. I don't know no doctor. Doctor who?
Geeta, get the hand sanitizer primed. We've got guests.
And welcome back to the podcast. Here I am with Callum Trevitt and Reuben Roper. Hello, both of you.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you both?
I'm really good. Really, really good. Long day at uni today, but yeah, really, really good.
Lovely sunny day, roller coasters all around me. Happy days, happy days. Out of lockdown almost.
Yeah, we're nearly there. Nearly there.
Yeah, isn't it meant to be like? Isn't there something happening in May?
I think so.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, the world is slowly opening up. Slowly being the key word there.
It was a bit long. It was taking a little bit longer this time around, but I know that I know that in June it's meant to be that we're going to act like it never existed or something, which is.
You know what?
Yeah.
I hope. Well, I hope so. I mean, obviously, like we have to remember we have to remember like the way in which we
we
handled
can't
everything and
forget
take
what
that
happened.
forward with us.
Mm.
But you know, I think we all miss normality. Like we all want to get back to filming, creating content, traveling, seeing our loved ones, and all of that. So I'm excited. I'm optimistic. That's the right word to use. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, because
yeah, me too.
I've heard things that people are still going to be very anxious of one another even though they're told it's fine now. There's still going to be that anxiousness because have either one of you had your first vaccine yet?
I haven't yet.
Yes, I have actually. I've had my first vaccine already.
Yeah, because
the thing is,
I've had mine.
Oh yeah, go on.
Did you have any bad symptoms?
I had the Pfizer. I was actually completely.
Yeah,
fine.
I had
just
the.
had
I've got my little card here. It will tell me the answer. I had the. Oh God, I had the one that's now banned.
Oh no!
I had the AstraZeneca one.
Well, I tell you what, though. I mean, I think the answer to people being anxious, I think that will subside once everyone has had their vaccine. I think the answer to that is the vaccine.
Yeah, there's been a lot of criticism about vaccines because obviously with the one that I've had, and just as well as that, like the biggest thing that will come from it that will undo all of this will be if someone who's had the vaccine, both doses, gets COVID again. If there's somehow, if COVID is able to adjust to the vaccine, then it's like, yep, back to square one. Like in terms of everyone's mind of the whole process.
Yeah, they're talking about these pills as well. These pills that they're going to be. So it's for when you've got the vaccine. I think I may be wrong, but I think you take the. Oh, my mic's going mental. I think you take the vaccine, the pills after you had your vaccine, and it basically treats it while you've got it.
Oh, okay, okay, because what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. But
I was just going to add to the end of that. That was like a dramatic clang in the middle of your sentence.
Sorry.
Actually, that has actually put me off a bit now. I can't remember what to follow up with. But actually, that was actually something I was just thinking about, which was for anyone listening, spoilers ahead for Torchwood 2000. In the finale, did either one of you intend to make it so relevant to what's actually going on in the world right now? Like, like when you had like Boris come up saying stuff about COVID, I was like, wow.
This is the thing. Like when the original, and by the way, the original episode 2 script, which is the one you saw, was actually episode 4, and it was quite different because it was meant to be the end of a 4-part series.
Yeah.
However, the Jane Cavan parts, the government parts, they were all written. I think we wrote that in 2019, so it was about between October and December. It was written in 2019.
Yeah, when you had all those infomercials saying about like stay safe and everything.
I was like, that kind of came in from a lot of sort of the COVID NHS stuff.
Yeah, we adapted to the whole situation. That infomercial section was actually put in place of a big scene which we were unfortunately not able to do because the restrictions simply wouldn't allow it.
Because now having watched it, I know that you filmed wasn't one of your last filming days filming that final scene.
That was the final day.
Yeah, that was in August, and it was in Guildford.
Very late August, and it was literally I filmed, and then 2 days later I went to university.
Yeah,
and that was it.
I mean, cool.
Weird day.
I mean, we did cut it quite fine, but
we did it though.
we did it, and I mean, we worked with what we had, and we had a really, really challenging set of circumstances. I mean, when we were filming with the actress who plays the Doctor, for example, we literally just had an afternoon to do it, and it was really windy. We had to move locations. We literally had about an hour to get that entire scene done, so it really wasn't up to the standard we wanted, as for a lot of it. But we just thought to ourselves, if we delay it till after the pandemic in terms of finishing filming, we're not going to get it done. So we did have
is that
to
why
adapt.
is that why there was a bit of a gap between episode 1 and 2, because it was trying to make it work?
Basically, I mean, by the time episode 1 came out, in fact, when was that? We did actually finish filming episode 2. Like, episode 2 was wrapped in August. Obviously, episode 1 was released in October. However, we had a lot of challenges with the VFX and stuff like that, because we wanted to make it a little bit more polished than the first one. And we also thought, there's going to be another lockdown happening. Like, if we delay that content a little bit more, we'll have something new to release during the next lockdown, which
people will be able to sort of enjoy it throughout the kind of
basically. But my main answer to that question is, it was mainly written, and the whole concept was constructed for the pandemic. So the opening scene, that big chunk of opening scene where you see the kids and you see the Prime Minister, all of that was in the original script. That is an OG piece of the story. And that was all pre-pandemic. And then post...
It's like a week before.
Yeah, exactly. And post title sequence, pretty much all of that, apart from the Jane Cavan scene, was all post-pandemic. And honest to God, I mean, we really had to think about how we could stitch the story together, because it was quite difficult to rejig it around. But
I have to say though, I think the cast and crew were amazing in doing that and in coming together despite the circumstances, because I actually had to get I had to look at very, very newly made government papers about the rules of television and film production, even for an amateur company. We could still have an inspector come to us and go, "You're not distancing properly, we're going to shut this entire operation down," and we'll be given fines. So I had to look through government things and all sorts just to know how to space it out well. So even things like when I'm acting alongside Beth, who plays Angel, there is a lot of it's very little 2 shots are in there. I think there's only about 3 2 shots that we could just about get away with, and then the rest were just sort of almost vox pops.
It must be such a weird feeling though, because effectively, especially when you're filming something, you typically are given more free range with movement, and then all of a sudden, it says in the script, run over and hug them. You're like,
yeah, absolutely. And like with things like even the bit where interesting you said that, run over and hug them. Initially, Jax gets up and runs and tries to apologize, and she uses this energy from her hands to throw him back. Almost like she's saying distancing, which I love, and just things like that. I like the fact that we were able to sort of work around that. I mean, even the bit when he proclaims his love for her, Beth wasn't even there.
Yeah, she wasn't there in that scene
because it started raining during the end of her scenes, and so we had to get all of her lines done, and then we came back another day.
That was one of the hottest days of the year when we were doing that.
It was mental, and I'm in that big leather jacket and goggles and all those layers. Oh my God.
We were basically hopping over the sand. I mean, it was that hot. It was practically going through my shoes and socks. And honest to God, and also just to add, everything post-pandemic, it was literally a one-man crew, and that's me holding up this really heavy camera and also the microphone on top. I mean, it was. I think we came up with a rule we would mainly have 3 of us on set, so 2 actors, 1 camera, me, with the exception of the final scene, which was when restrictions were lifted a bit. That was really challenging. And on that filming day, when it was just me and Reuben trying to film those last bits, and I actually Reuben, I've got a bit of a revelation for you.
Really?
You're gonna hate me.
What have you done?
So, in actual fact, we had already filmed pretty much all of those.
No.
So
Did we?
Yeah, we did. We did pretty much all of it, apart from one line. We basically went back on the hottest day of the year in like the hottest part of the country.
Oh, for God's sake, Callum! What? You could have told me, and you knew that day, didn't you?
That's exclusive for you right here, folks. It's even exclusive to Reuben.
It is. I'm always the last person to find out. It was like all the revelations and stuff. I have to say, one of the things in the second episode, some of the revelations are genius because Callum won't even tell me these big secrets, and he'll do it with VFX. So it's really clever. It's really clever.
Oh yeah.
So you'll be watching the episode and go, "Oh my god!"
I conspired with James Jarvis, the composer, and my mouse is going all weird. So I conspired with James Jarvis, the composer, and we were like, right, let's add in the drum beat of 4, because I've always had this image in my mind that Jaxus is a Time Lord, and me and Reuben have had these discussions before about Jaxus's backstory. But
are you saying that Reuben didn't know Jaxus's backstory before the episode came out?
Oh no, he did. He just didn't know.
I
it
was just
gonna be
thinking when you were
revealed
talking
in
about
that way.
visual effects, and then there's just that fade over on his face, and I'm like, is that the first time Reuben found out? He's like,
well, this is the thing. I know several possibilities of Jaxus's backstory, and obviously I can't say because we've got more coming in the future, and it will be looked at. I now know exactly who he is.
Yeah,
and it's really clever actually because it's not. I'm always gonna this is what's ridiculous. So many people have messaged me and gone, "Okay, you've got it, dude. You've got to tell me who he is." I'm racking my brain. I'm like, "What? Why do you care?" and in the end, I can't say anything other than it is not what you'd expect, and it's really clever.
That's something that's actually I find has made Torchwood 2000 quite unique. Because it's the story, the setting. And also, as well as that, I think one of the other major things that's helped is actually getting an original score made. Like that still
it's amazing. That
still hits the vibe of Torchwood without it being, this is just the Torchwood soundtrack, but with the pitch changed. You know what I mean? To make sure it doesn't hit copyright. But you've actually gone out and worked. Isn't it? It's Salem Sound, isn't it?
No, it's
Salem Sound did episode 1.
Yeah, he did episode 1, which was fantastic. Devon really does get the grungy Torchwood vibe. And then the episode 2, we went with James Jarvis because they were both interested, and we just split the workload basically. And James Jarvis is such a talented composer as well. Like he really is. And
Devon created Jaxus's theme as well, which is really good. Again, I'm trying to think. One of my favorite bits of the music for the whole of Torchwood. Obviously, I love Jaxus's theme. I love all the character themes.
Because I've seen the soundtrack uploaded to YouTube. I have actually been listening to it a lot.
Oh, brilliant!
I've got 2 favorite tracks, which is the "We Are Torchwood." But then also the music rising in the background as well is quite nice. But then I've also been I quite like the closing theme as well, like with because obviously when I'm hearing it in the episode, it's obviously people talking over it and everything. But hearing it as an isolated piece, I'm like, how is this not used for like an actual the show?
Literally,
really,
it's amazing.
Really high quality score.
It's really high quality. Both composers are amazing. They're both amazing. I mean, it always like the Jane Cavern music always sets me off because it's like James Bond.
Yeah. So basically, with the Jane Cavern scene, I
remember Callum, when you sent me a clip that you cut out the spoiler as well. So it's not just you were doing it to. You said I was because I talked about like if you needed any money for it or anything when you sent out the lockdown trailer, like if you wanted any like Patreon or anything like that. Yeah. And then you sent me a couple of clips, which was the revelation, but you cut out the bit revelation. And then there was
Yeah.
another bit I think you sent me, which was when when all time froze at the end of I think it was the end of episode.
Oh yes.
You sent me that, but then cut out other bits as well.
Yeah.
It's like when
yeah.
Marvel cut things out their trailers to avoid spoil. I love that. I love it when
Except that
people
it
do
just
that.
cuts to black for 5 seconds and then carries.
But yeah, with the score, I mean, when we had finished filming the Jane cabin scene, and even before that, I really wanted, in my mind, I had this James Bond style, when the villain turns round on their chair stroking their cat sort of thing. And I really wanted that Jane Cavan Prime Minister. And then as she stands up, we have, this drum kit coming in. And James and I really worked on that. I mean, obviously, massive credit to James, like phenomenal score. But from the start, we were like, we need James Bond vibes here, and that's what we got. I mean, James, you can just trust him. You can trust his judgment that he'll produce some fantastic music, and he's been recognised and he's already climbing the ladder very quickly. But yeah, it's all fantastic.
How did it all come about? Because obviously, for those of you who may not know, there was a sort of pilot episode made in 2017.
Yeah.
Currently no longer available. But where did the idea of bringing it back but reinventing it
So I went on my tiny. I had a tiny YouTube channel called Imagine Productions, and I did fan films on it because I was always obsessed with fan films. I was, especially as a young Doctor Who fan, 2007, 2008. I was 7 or 8 years old on YouTube looking stuff by.
You put a lot of work into it. I've seen that Cyberman fight scene.
Oh my god!
I mean, I can see people in the background watching, going like, "What on earth is going on?"
Yeah! Oh my god! That was so much fun.
It's you punching a Cyberman.
Literally.
I got to give you respect for that. It's like if it was me,
my doctor doesn't use like bombs.
Yeah,
he just whacks the crap out of them.
Yeah, for me, if it was me, I'd been like, okay, let's just, the Cyberman's coming out of the alleyway. I mean, you've gone, nope, they've invaded a park.
Yeah, literally. I was just like, we've got nothing here. What are we gonna do? Oh god, it was so much fun, and that was it was good fun doing my little fan films because I was always obsessed with things like Batman March and Tom Rees-Kay at Trinity Production, all sorts of stuff. Time Agent blew my mind.
Time Agent is actually, I mean, in terms of like how it came about, how the current version of Torchwood 2000 came about. Me and Reuben and I were working on a different sort of spin-off called Temporis. Which was going to be about this madman lunatic space junkie, which he still sort of is in a junkie. It was basically a prequel. It would have been a prequel to what Torchwood 2000 became. Yeah. So this is Jax in his early days before he came to Earth. For those of your viewers who have watched the prequel to Torchwood 2000, which is actually an audiobook. Jaxus obviously came from a different planet. This would have been him in that form, and in terms of the script, I mean, Jaxus was a completely different character. I guess you could probably relate him to a mix between Russell Brand, Captain Jack Sparrow, and I'm just trying to remember what their names are, but from Harry Potter, the Deathly Hallows.
Barty Crouch Jr.
No. Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows, they're like bounty hunters. The Snatcher, that's it, yeah.
Snatcher, yeah.
There's sort of a mix between those three. And he had this big like junk bus, this like flying spaceship bus, which we were going to film at a museum. And it was just too ambitious in the end. Like we weren't ready to do something on that scale. But then after that, we just decided to call quits on it because actors' availabilities were a nightmare. As well.
Location wise,
university locations. So then Reuben and I, we sat down and we had a discussion, and I watched his Torchwood thing again. I just said to Reuben, why don't we just do your Torchwood 2000 thing, but make it like updated and
and the original idea for like it was what I call camera phone Torchwood 2000, because it was literally filmed on a tiny camera phone or something. It was handheld, and we filmed a load of night shoots and stuff, and it didn't pick up well on camera. But the idea originally came from me and a friend of mine called Jaquan Wallace, who we basically just had this idea of what if Torchwood was set in the future. You know, we know Torchwood is out there in the future. We know because of the Torchwood archive and the Satan pit. We know that Torchwood ends up working into the interstellar. So Torchwood could be in space. Torchwood could get access to time travel one day. So why aren't they? Why shouldn't they be in the future? And the character in that wasn't Jaxus, but it was a person called Myro, Agent Myro, which was clearly a rip-off of Time Agent because I loved Time Agent as a kid and I just adored it.
Yeah, but it's come back
since,
so cool.
It has. It was so good. I loved that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Did you know? I don't know how much you both know about my audios, but it's got two of my because they were shooting it back in 2012 sort of time before.
Yes, Rafferty's in it, isn't he?
Yeah. It's got two mates of mine in it who were filming my old Time Agent fan films back in the day. Who got
nice. Oh yeah, because you did Time Traveller. Yeah.
Well, that's still technically going, but it's just we completely. It's
audio now.
We kind of did a sort of Torchwood 2000 with it. Just kind of
nice.
We'll just cut out every reference to it being a fan film of somebody else's fan film. They're in the ending of episode 2 when they get beaten up. The robbers.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But that was it was so weird because that was shot in 2012, but it's now.
Because
when it came out, it was 2020.
Literally, there's so much stuff in it that they shot years ago, and they then weren't able to, and then they came back onto it, and they refilmed.
Kind of paused for now because they can't shoot it because multiple people or something like that. So essentially, you then worked on story elements for what could change, etc. Because is it that Torchwood? Because is it that Torchwood 2000? Is it that it was established in the year 2000?
It was the 2000th branch.
Right. Okay.
Oh, really? That's the first time I'm hearing about that.
Because in the lockdown trailer, it says Torchwood established 2000. I was like, oh right.
Oh God, it does, doesn't it?
No, Reuben. You're gonna have to cut that out, I think.
No, I wrote that.
Anyway, I mean,
I like that. Is it?
No, Reuben. I was under the impression it was Torchwood 2000, as in born in 2000.
No, it's the 2000th pro.
I mean,
why am I finding out about this now? Anyway, excuse the domestic.
I mean, there was something else I was going to ask as well, which was I remember when I think it was the lockdown trailer when it went out. Somebody asked what the continuity was in terms of it, and I can't remember which one of you two it was, but someone said it was part of the Never Was dimension.
Oh yeah. So basically, this is something that's going to be addressed in the next episode.
Right. Cool.
Basically, the Never Was is another word which we're sort of like making up. It's another word for an alternate dimension which almost never actually happened. It literally never happened.
Yeah, because in Doctor Who lore there is a continuity called the Never Was.
Yeah. Oh God, is there?
Yeah. And I was just like, oh wow, they're going very niche. And then and then obviously the ending happened, and I was like, oh. Because there's a Never Was dimension where basically
I thought that was the Never When.
No,
War Doctor.
But basically, I know there's basically a universe where the Doctor never existed and Earth. Just
yes. Yeah. No, that is it.
That's what we were. Because that was from that's the one. Yeah. Because that came in Temporis. Because in Temporis the Doctor didn't exist.
Because basically, throughout Torchwood 2000, the reason why they live in such a screwed up world is because the Doctor doesn't exist, and the reason why the Never Was, or the alternate world, which Torchwood 2000 takes place in, it was created by Jaxus. I mean, I'm not even sure if we've made it abundantly clear, but it was actually made by Jaxus.
I mean, that was clear to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't entirely know why.
Eagle-eyed viewers. But yeah, so basically, that world was essentially created by Jaxus when he first came to Earth, because he was messing around with the broken vortex manipulator. As the Doctor explains when he meets the Doctor, and the Doctor says,
I'm meant to be
that
dead.
she died, she's meant to be dead. And essentially that entire universe now no longer exists, hence called the Never Was. And it is something, when we approach episode 3 and beyond that, it is something we're going to be going into quite a bit. And it is also something that is referenced in our next Doctor Who project. But each one of our new projects will be 100% standalone. However, it will feature references to specific things. And
there will be there'll be overarching bits here and there, but they are standalones. They aren't like series.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're making sure that each moving forward, because we have learned our lesson with being too ambitious with projects where a global pandemic could happen, for example.
Well, yeah, I mean, not to be too spoiled about my own audios, but in the time travel audios I do, it's based on a visual series I made in 2014 and 17. And we're basically working our way up to doing a continuation of that. The only problem is the visual series ended with half the human race dying due to a viral contagion.
Wow.
So when
awesome.
Yeah, so when we literally, because today, when we're recording this, we've actually just finalized the first volume of the continuation, technically series 4.
Oh wow.
And I'm now looking at going, without being, I suppose, a bit too insensitive, but the way that the world has handled the pandemic has really worked as a case study for how to write these audios. Because I mean, in the case with, for example, with how the world has actually been dealing with it, it's been a viral contagion that's spread over time, whereas in the audios it happened in an hour. So no one was prepared and everything was just going wrong at once. So,
and that's totally true. I love that. I love the fact that you put that in there, because
I did really important. 3 years before the pandemic happened.
But yeah, it's the thing. It shows that through story we actually know quite well. We can always estimate how the human race is going to react to something.
It's like we've added small little things. Like, even though in our story it was very quick, we still had we've added, because of how things have been handled in the real world, we've written in that the government initiated a lockdown, a curfew anyway, just to gather whether or not it was a one-off or not, or whether or not something else is going. Just small little things like that wouldn't have necessarily, not necessarily thought of if this hadn't happened. Nonetheless, I'm not at all grateful that this has happened, though. But I'm always very careful when I say stuff like that, because it sounds like I'm grateful for it happening, which I'm not in any way.
But it's happened. We can't change that it's happened. But it's great to take some positives out of a bad situation. It's always good to do that. Yeah.
And to use that in your art is really important as well, because people will look back and see this, and people will remember that, oh yes, of course, COVID, and they'll see it mirror, because history always mirrors itself, it always repeats. I think that's why Torchwood 2000 worked so well, because it was this idea of an apocalyptic world,
which we won't be doing anymore. Because, the thing is, we did set the Never Was the Torchwood 2000 universe initially. We set it in this post-apocalyptic world where lots of burning buildings and societies and weird groupings and cults and stuff like that exist. And then the pandemic hit, and we were like, do you know what? We're already living in a dystopia. We don't want to be writing about one as well. So we changed the ending completely of episode.
To them coming to Earth,
To them coming to. Oh no, sorry, we didn't change it, but we did we change it? I don't remember.
Do you remember anything, Callum?
Is it because you've been hiding so much from everyone that reality is changing for you?
Actually, no. I think the answer to that is we decided not to continue with the other 2 episodes, because what we could have done is we could have filmed an episode called Night Roots, which was written by a guy called Oscar. No, it was Oscar.
I was supposed to. Oh, that's even. I feel like I mean, like it's like you're having to also cut episodes that other people wrote as well.
That's been difficult. Yeah,
I wrote. As long as there's
well.
some way to adapt it later down the line, like there's always options later down the line when things sort of get back to normal to have the typical things, especially when you're going into different timelines. Like that villain didn't exist. That shouldn't exist here.
It was basically. It was basically a horror version of Little Shop of Horrors, basically.
Oh, nice.
This giant carnivorous plant, which we ended up moving into the very final scene where that giant
into the
plant
ending.
burst.
That's what it was from the trailer. I do, because I really like the lockdown trailer. I really like the editing of it, and
thank you.
And I was like, I keep watching it and thinking, well, I could count. I don't know where that flower shot was.
Yeah.
I know. I was honestly devastated that we couldn't do that, because we had.
There was going to be another one. I wrote one with the silence in it.
Yeah, Reuben.
We were going to have one about a cult worshipping
the devil,
silence. Right? Yeah. Worshipping what they thought was Satan, but it was one of the silence.
And again, that was going to be another section of the post-apocalyptic city, because it was made of different cults. But I mean, in episode 3, which we were planning, like we were getting ready to film it, and then we had to switch track really quickly. But it would have involved like lots of night scenes in an old car, which would have been my car, and then we would have just used exterior shots of a different, more decrepit car. And it would have been so cool, to see Jax just like driving around at night and like cursing,
leaning out the window and shooting a gun out of it. Yeah,
but. A lot of these ideas we are just going to push forward, and we eventually decided, okay, we're not going to go back to that. We're not going to stay in the post-apocalyptic world. We're going to stick with what we've got in the supposedly the finale episode. We're going to stick with it, and we're going to come back to Earth 2020 and just continue the series from there.
Which I think will be really interesting, because obviously we've got characters who, especially Jaxus, all of them, Jaxus, Geeta, Godric, and Angel, are all used to this apocalyptic world, and they've now realized, because they've got memories back from that, they've got 2 lives, one of which ended abruptly, and they're having to deal with that. And then obviously we've got Jaxus, who still doesn't remember who he is. And
didn't they say, there wasn't said in the episode, didn't the doctor say in a few days you'll remember everything?
But that never
will
actually,
he?
But that never actually comes about. And
did she lie?
The thing is, and I'm just going to try and be as spoiler-free as possible.
I did do my research before this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every line of dialogue analysed.
The thing is, and this part isn't a secret about episode 3. Episode 3, we are sort of going to start from scratch, but we're not. We are picking up from episode 2. But episode 2 finishes with a beginning, basically. So,
well, even then, I mean, it would be interesting to see what the new world brings. Because obviously, I mean, I'm assuming that in your continuity, COVID is canon.
Oh yeah.
Because you have Boris. Because you have Boris show up. But I'm like, okay, because obviously it's unclear and unsure about the Doctor Who universe. Because obviously, when they shot Revolution of the Daleks, they shot that in October 2019, so they could never know about. So then, when it's set in around New Year's 2021, you're like, is everyone's
That's
it's kind of up in the air about how what is and isn't canon in Doctor Who. But the reason I say it's also because if they're operating, if they're operating as Torchwood on this Earth, Torchwood's not exactly in a good place at that point. There's a lot of interesting stories that you're opening it up to, like what is the status of Torchwood now? Like they've been operating outside of everything, and now they're going to do that
illegally.
The thing is, when we pick up from episode 3, essentially, you will recall from the end of episode 2 where Jaxus breaks out of the parallel universe when Angel essentially blows it up using the force of the demon god that has essentially possessed her. They all get their memories back from the Netherworlds, from the Tortured universe.
Yes.
And that actually overwrites their existing lives. They already have lives in the 2020 world. They already have lives until Jaxus comes along out of the blue.
He blunders in.
And he gives them their tortured memories back. And it completely overwrites everything else. And it's a bit like in Harry Potter, the Oblivion curse. You know, when you essentially obliviate curse, when you essentially erase people.
I don't know why, but my mind is bubbling with ideas.
Yeah,
I don't want to
absolutely.
say. I don't want to say it on the podcast in case you're like, oh yes, we know we're doing it. Or that's a good idea. We'll do that. And I'm like, oh, well, I've already told you it.
And another thing, we certainly are going to. The thing is, the problem with the Torture 2000, not the problem with it, but one of the issues was that, you know, the fact that it was set in a post-apocalyptic world, we had to really think about details, inconsistencies. You know, a modern Mercedes car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we did decide we are definitely going to just bring it forward. You know, put our characters back into the normal world of 2020, 2021,
and have them react to a time that they don't know as well, a time that is totally alien to them.
There's a democracy for starters.
Yeah, literally, there's a government, there's police out there. They no longer own the streets. How are they going to react to that? How are they going to react to? You can go into places called shops and you can buy things as long as you've got the money for it. And Jaxus now has access to all the drugs in the world, so he's incredibly happy.
I can just imagine them going into an off license and just finding food and trying to walk out with it.
Yeah,
the guy in the off license is like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a few culture shocks. I mean, like I said, we are going to start almost fresh, and when we open on episode 3 after the very ominous and exciting pre-title scene, which I won't give too much away, but it is.
Oh, it's gory.
It's a. All I'm going to say, and Reuben, don't elaborate on this, but I'm going
to cover my mouth.
It's set inside this decrepit terraced house. That's basically this drug house, and they're growing cannabis.
Right.
And a surgical scene takes place, and illegal surgery is occurring. ... And then in the post-title sequence scene, when we open up, they're adjusting to life in this new world. I mean, for them, they've just died and then woken up here. You know, it's almost like heaven for them. But then they soon realize that they don't fit in, and you know, we do come up with a lot of themes. We do produce a lot of themes with this story.
It'd be interesting as well. Don't confirm or deny anything. But it'd be interesting to see how because obviously there's going to be. I mean, until this is shot, there's probably going to be a little bit of a break still until things it's at least until June. At least until the 21st of June. But it'd be interesting to see how you take the story, like whether or not like you said, it's going to pick up immediately after the cliffhanger of episode 2, but whether or not you have that for the pre-titles, and then after the titles, they actually, you might do a time jump, and you're seeing that everyone's just like, like for example, we don't. I mean, maybe there wasn't much in terms of you got to know with the first 2 episodes who the team members were, but there's Torture's. Whilst it's about team members, it's also about their domestic relationships as well.
Yeah.
So when in this post-apocalyptic world you don't have that because there isn't anything domestic, and now all of a sudden they're like, "Hang on, I've got to do the washing up."
Yeah, literally. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that in the next episode, and it's really quite funny to see them interact.
It's such an interesting concept you've got to work with as well. Like it's just so many possibilities.
I think that was quite a big challenge from a writing perspective, even with the original scripts. Like, coming up with, small talk was quite difficult because, in this world, they only really lived with each other. That they didn't really know anyone else, and it just wasn't working. And I think
there's some
in the time frame we had.
Well, after we've recorded this podcast segment, I'll just have to tell you the list of ideas that have suddenly really my mind about this. I'm just trying to. I can't say anything. I've got nothing to say now.
Just, honest to God, write it down, jot it down, and we will have a chit chat about it after.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we really are going to delve into as much as we can. Angel, for example. I've just given it away. You're going to have to clip that bit. Sorry. Anyway.
In fairness, I didn't hear it.
So basically, one of the characters will, in some way, shape, or form, find out their address. All of these people, like Godric, Angel, and Geeta, they have literally gone missing, and their families in the real world are looking for them. The police are looking for them. They're essentially on the run because they don't want to go back to these normal lives. Like that.
They don't understand the lives, do they? And what?
They don't.
Unlike any one of us, if you don't understand it and you don't want to understand it, you don't want to get involved.
I mean, it's like the juxtaposition between, working in an office job, stapling, doing the admin spreadsheet, that sort of thing, or kicking ass, saving the world, fighting monsters. And, the Torchwood team from episode 3 onwards, it is properly grungy. They're homeless. They're
well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is they don't want to be doing ordinary jobs, but that's the only thing that's going to pay their rent now.
And they don't even have to pay rent. I mean, the new quote unquote hub is a decrepit abandoned house in the woods, and they
it's hidden away.
It's like a safe house, really. And I think one of the things we're drawing inspiration from quite a lot is I don't know whether it's part 1 or part 2, but it's from Deathly Hallows of Harry Potter, where Ron, Harry, and Hermione literally have to, leave the city because it is so dangerous. And you might recall they've got that tent which is bigger on the inside, and they have to put enchantments around it. That is basically what this team are doing, because they have basically gone missing. And Jaxus has caused trouble again, and the police are looking for him. He's a suspect.
Do you know what's funny? Really, that was going to be one. That was one of the ideas I wasn't mentioning.
Oh, was it?
I was saying, well, he doesn't exist, and he doesn't really play by the rules. So, if anything, just have the police after him constantly.
Yeah. Well, there's also. Can I talk about someone that's coming into the series? I won't say much about them.
Coming in or coming back?
Coming in.
Okay, yeah.
So there we have a new character who I'm going to call new character, who I love. We have cast them, we've written them, we know what they're about, and all I have to say is I am so excited to bring that character in, and it's going to be.
They've already been referenced, actually.
Yes, they have.
Towards the end of episode.
It's 2. Really exciting, and oh God, I'm so excited because I know the actor that's coming in, and I've known them for a while, and been talking to them about the character and sort of coaching them about how this character reacts and things like that. And so we have another member of the Torchwood family, and so it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of them react to that.
I've seen the audition tape, and I'm very excited.
I'm blown away by it.
That way. And we also have a returning character.
There
was a huge enigma in episode 2, and there was sort of a villainous character who was so ominous. Like Godric didn't know who he was. This is Ralph.
Oh, yeah.
Godric didn't know who he was, and he claimed that he knew who Godric was. That he knew that they went to school together, that they met up again in prison, and then at the very end, before they kill themselves, taking the government's prescribed suicide medicine.
In fairness, it didn't seem that quick.
No.
I thought if you're doing it for the masses, you're probably going to be like, oh, don't worry, it's fine. You won't feel anything.
It goes in seconds. No, they scream for half an hour and then die.
It's like okay, like literally everyone just starts screaming. I'm like,
but I would definitely say there is a point to that, and it wasn't addressed in the episode because this, our follow-up scene with that actor didn't happen because of COVID.
Yeah.
But I can assure you there is, he's quite a big part of the third episode, and it's so exciting, and Reuben's going to be building stuff and making prosthetics, and it's all very
it's
exciting.
so cool.
It's so cool.
So exciting to be making. It's so annoying that I can't talk about it yet.
I know, we love
we're so close to doing it. Yeah.
So is there anything you wanted to finish up the segment saying?
We love Torchwood, and Chris Chibnall, please bring it back. Please.
Yes.
We will do anything.
Please bring Torchwood back.
We will do anything. Like literally anything you want. Like.
Okay.
also, I have to say, I know it's a bit bumlicky, but my God, I love Overton Audios. I'm listening to them religiously at the moment. I am.
#, please do a collab with us.
Yes, please. Honestly, I listened to.
Have we already done one? Haven't we?
Yeah.
Another
So
one.
I've been in a couple.
Again.
Yeah, you
it's
played
so much fun.
You played. Well, this was a problem.
I played
Back in
Magda,
2019, when I record them a year in advance. You played the leader of 1914 Torchwood.
Yes, I did.
And then the irony was we then did a full.
I went off and did Torchwood.
Well, yeah. The funny thing was we went. Okay, we're going to develop on that character and have him be in this own audio drama with to do with the whole team.
Oh
but then you weren't. But then you weren't available to record it because you were filming the other Torchwood 2000.
I'm sorry.
So it's like
Callum stole me. Oh man.
So it was
but
like,
no, you know what I'm like, Connor. I'll record literally anything as long as it's on Overton. It's brilliant. I mean, some of the Young Doctor stuff I've been binging at the moment, and the storytelling is just incredible, and the acting is brilliant. And honestly, you guys are fantastic. And
thank you. It's burned a huge hole in my pocket.
I bet. Honestly, I have to say that we love it.
We do.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And we're so excited for all of the future content, which we're all going to be getting up to, and hopefully some more collabs in all sorts of.
I am cutting down on. I've only got one more audio drama to edit before all of this year's releases are finished.
Oh wow!
I
know which one that is.
I'm so behind on everything right now. I would usually have finished this year's releases before it was the year of it being released.
And that's what is amazing. That's what's amazing about the releases as well. You plan ahead so brilliantly.
I am cutting down now, slowly.
I remember with when I did my first one, it was a Young Doctor episode. It was the Space Whale.
Oh God! I've said that ending scene of that when you remember that scene when you're watching Nadia's death on the TV screen.
Yeah.
Along with that music, honestly, mate. I know that I wrote it, but like I was like, God,
it was beautiful.
I'm getting a bit tearful.
It was really good. I mean, all of them are just fantastic. All the story, and also Luke Lane's great as well.
Yeah.
Luke Lane, John N. Harper as well. Obviously, Dan is brilliant. They're all fantastic. They're all brilliant.
Yeah, well, thank
Irish Doctor stuff. I love Irish Doctor.
Oh yeah, we love the Irish Doctor, 100%.
Yeah, he's his final ever episode of Uncharted Past.
I
know.
Yeah. But all I will say is this: it's not quite over for him yet.
Oh yes!
Ooh.
Awesome.
we have got plans to do a volume or two more, but not of Uncharted Past.
Oh wow! Awesome.
I mean, you know, kind of what happens to Nathan in the end, don't you? If you watch how it happens in the visuals and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say that you never saw the grieving period.
Oh God.
And I'll leave that there.
Oh no!
I mean, there's an after credits scene on the final episode of Uncharted Past, which is meant to be like a kind of a taster of the things to come for what's going on. But then after those couple of new volumes, that will then probably be it, because at that point he'll be lining up. Dan will be lining up his final ever episode, and he wants to be completely finished with it all, like everything audios wise and storyline wise. So when the final episode comes out, you have everything.
Wow.
Which, I mean, obviously, he's not been able to film anything during COVID. He's episode. But that's why Uncharted Past got pushed forward so quickly, because when lockdown happened, we got Volume 1 written, recorded, and edited within a month. Because we were just like, wow, we're not working right now. let's go and I don't know, make something. And then Volume 4 took longer because some of the actors didn't have their own microphones, so we had to send over microphones, but then they were our own, which means we couldn't then record our stuff.
Oh god, that's what we had to do.
Yeah,
it was a nightmare.
With ADR.
Yeah, we did that for the whole of episode 1.
Oh,
I mean, it's
that
like
was an absolute nightmare.
It's like this. There's this other short film I've been making with a friend of mine's been directing it. I've been DOP on it, but we started shooting that in October 2019, and wrapped in July 2020, and had to film scenes which were cutting between October 2019 and July 2020.
Oh gosh,
but
yeah.
Luckily, where I live, they've got these little fairy lights in the tree. That makes it look Christmassy. So when you film it in October and everyone's kind of dressed for autumn, kind of cold weather, and then they go do it again in July, the one thing that sold it for everyone was the fact that you still had the fairy lights in the trees, and it made it sort of like Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Nobody looked at the fact that there was a cyclist going by in shorts and a short sleeved or anything like that. It was just the fact that it's literally the one scene that blends seamlessly. But now we're stuck on the problem of the sound designer who does it will not accept people recording ADR in separate locations. So we're now, for the past 6 months, have been stuck going, okay, because he's making
ADR is a nightmare.
He's made the score and everything. He puts it together for a DVD release.
Yeah.
And then, but the problem is, of course, it has to be the best and highest quality it can be naturally. But then, of course, there's no getting around it. They're like, you have to be in the same location, recorded in the same bit, in the same bit lengths, everything. And we're like, okay, well, that's kind of impossible right now. So we're having to wait until June, which will then take us to nearly a year after we wrapped. And the edit was done about a month after we had like shot it. So it's been sat there for 11 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we were going to send it. And obviously, I suppose it's also a bonus because we were going to send it off to film festivals as well, which of course they aren't open right now.
Oh yeah, definitely wait until they're open, because.
Well, yeah, but it's one of those things of like, it's the longest film I've ever worked on, because the production, basically the guy who wrote it and directed it, he started writing it in 2017. Finally kind of put it on the back burner for a little bit because he made another sort of action film. And then in 2019, he finished it, started shooting it, and now we are in 2021. So it's been like almost 4 years in the making, this film. It's not even an action film. It's just more of a film about who is really a bad person kind of thing. But yeah, it's just weird how, like, and then that's why we were able to push forward and do so many audios, because
literally
nothing else to do. I mean, I wasn't even furloughed. I was still, because I work on construction sites, I check everyone's work and tell them they're wrong. So I still have to, well, the thing is, construction couldn't stop, because that's millions and billions of pounds that get thrown into it. When, especially in London, where it's never fully built. it's like they stopped for about 4 weeks. So there was about a month where I was only on site or going to places for work every 10 days, which was enough time for the incubation period and that early variant. And then after that, I've just been going to work normally, and then still trying to work around and having to rely on people who aren't working to write their scripts on time. Which
absolutely,
yeah. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for making yourselves available to record this.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've had a really good time. Thanks so much for asking us on.
No worries. Well, then I'll send it back off to me and Dan in the future.
Lovely.
And thank you, past me, because at the end of that segment I lead it into saying hello to the future with me and Daniel. Hello everyone. So that anything we should close out with, because we've gone through everything, haven't we?
Yeah, I just want to really just say, this may be very cheesy, but I do want to thank everyone who has helped with Doctor Who Uncharted Past, all 4 volumes, from Callum, who's been great as Nathan since volume 2, to even you, Connor, because in a day I would never be able to tell the story without you. And there's just so many people. Emily was amazing as Amber. She was a great find for the character. Damien as the Master, he was phenomenal in the role, and Amy as Fiona, and great as well. And even I don't want to name her in the podcast, but there's a friend of mine who stepped in to be the physical appearance of Fiona, and
you've broken the magic now.
I know, but I need to thank her as well, because she's
not Doctor. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But everyone's always assumed that they're the same person.
Yeah, just let everyone know, the person who stands in as Amy, who stands in for Amy as Fiona, isn't Amy herself, because it's a whole contract actor things.
Yep.
But my friend stepped in. She's not a Doctor Who fan. She's not an actress. She's a friend of mine who I've known since I was 2 years old. So I'd like to thank her, because without her, we wouldn't have been able to get Volume 1 off the ground. So yeah, that's it. Uncharted Past is done, and I'm so thankful to everyone who helped to get done. And I think we ended it on a perfect note.
Well said, sir.
Anything you want to say, Chaddis?
I second that, what you just said. But also, just to quickly give a little roundup of what is coming up this month, because obviously we shifted some segments around because of your unavailability last month. But as well as Crimson Hunter coming out, Time Traveller 2017 is still due to come out starting on the 22nd of May, with the trailer coming out on the 15th of May. We'll quickly play it now. There's the trailer. That's coming out, of course, from the mid-May until roughly, I think, mid-June. But there are other things we'll still be talking about in the podcast. Like next month's podcast, we'll be talking about the audiobooks.
Oh yes.
Which will be an interesting one to chat about. I don't know who I'll be chatting to about that yet. We've got to figure that out. But there's still a lot coming along. A lot of good things we can you can expect to hear. And yes, thank you for enjoying the audios and giving us the inspiration and the compliments and also the criticisms as well. We're not perfect. We make things.
We always strive to be better, and it definitely helps.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you again to everyone. And is this goodbye, Daniel?
Till next month.
Yes. Till the next month, everyone. Farewell.
Farewell, everyone. Bye-bye.